Friday Night Fishes, number 14, also known as the I'm Feeling Mostly Better episode. So, probably about 70% better, I'd say. 60, 70%. Definitely on the upswing. So, feeling a lot better this week. Glad to be able to get back into the aquarium, make some changes, move some stuff around. You can see here in the front, and you'll see the other one here in a minute, but the Amazon swords, unfortunately, are starting to melt back. I think that is a circumstance of moving them around in the tank, so unrooting them to move them forward. You can see I don't have them planted too deep. They should be fine, so I'm really not sure what happened other than the fact that I moved them. You can also see the fish going to town on some rapashi. That rapashi is about a month old. Not going to lie, it's been sitting in the back of the fridge. The fish don't give a care. They like it. So one of the things I did this week is you can see that the pearl weeds started to get caught in these plants in the back here. So instead of just free floating around and forming a ball, they've stuck. So what I did is I went ahead and pulled it apart and started planting some of the strands of pearl weed that I found. I would like to eventually go ahead and get this whole area on the side carpeted with pearl weed, just to see how it does. You can see these plants in the back are doing really well. They're starting to grow in nice and thick. I trimmed them on Wednesday. It is Friday, obviously, and they're almost grown to the surface again. So what I'm doing is I'm just clipping them in half, and then basically doubling the number of planted plants in the back. So I go ahead and stick them into the soil, just to make a nice thick area in the back that the fish can hide in. Also, I know I keep saying it, but at some point I am going to order some blue bolt shrimp, and I want them to have some places that they can hide, and that's going to be pretty important, especially with the pearl weed as it starts to move forward. The next thing we've got is the Green Ozelot in the back. You can see that thing is doing amazing. The colors have really filled in. I love the look of the kind of tiger striped spots on it. And it looks, if I look at it, get out of the way, Tetras. You can see there that it actually looks on the right side like it's got a separate plant that's branched off. After doing some research, and there's really not a lot on YouTube regarding the propagation of green ozelots, but it sounds like what you do is you basically just pull the whole thing up, split the root in half or thirds or along whatever the logical line is. I'll try to do a separate video, maybe a special video, just to kind of show what that looks like when I do it, so I can document the process. Because like I said, there really is a lack of green ozelot propagation videos. These things are doing really well. A couple of weeks ago I cut them in half. Interesting, you can see it is throwing its own roots, which is what finger these guys are here, the white. So it's actually going to root. Then I can snip it if it doesn't go on its own. And I've got a new plant, so it is self-propagating. I love it. I love it when the plants do that because, number one, it's less work for me. And number two, it just means they're healthy. That they're to a point where they feel like they can go on. Oddness in the tank. You can see here one of the pond snail or lung snail shells. They've just started showing up dead, just empty shells, and no snail replacements. So I'm really not sure what's going on there. I don't know if they're warring with the ram's horn snails, which clearly are winning the battle. Look at all these guys. They like it right along the edge of the top of the water. They like floating around on the duckweed. I emptied the duckweed yesterday. I got about a pound of duckweed after I squeezed all the water out of it. It had pretty much completely propagated to the point that it had covered the entire surface. So, like I said, as you can see, things coming right along. Hopefully some more updates next week. Did want to mention I'm leery to propagate the green ozelot because of the way the Amazon swords have kind of started melting back. So I'm gonna do it, but I'm hesitant. thanks for watching, and talk to everybody again next week.